Welcome back, guys, to an episode of Talking Ball with JR. And the World Cup has finally begun, guys. And of course, Mexico have won. So shout out to Mexico. We'll be talking about the tomorrow and breaking down what we'll see in the weekend. But guys, for today, we'll be talking about our dark horses for the tournament. And before we get started, guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and also hit me with some hype points. I don't even know what that means, but apparently I'm supposed to ask you guys for some, and it helps the channel grow. So please help the channel grow and hit us with some hype points. And my first team that I'm starting off with, guys, is going to be the South American team that I feel like will be really, really good and really, really strong. I think defensively they'll be very well structured, and I think that they'll be a very hard team to beat overall. And they haven't lost a game in 2 years, and the last time they lost a game was against Brazil in 2024 in September. And that game, if I remember correctly, Brazil didn't look that good at all either. And Ecuador probably deserved to win that game. So shout out to Ecuador. They have definitely developed themselves into a very, very strong and contending team. Well, not contending to win the World Cup, but a team that, like I said, has a dark horse to not win the whole thing, but actually go far and farther in the group and surprise a lot of people. Obviously, guys, we already know about Moises Caicedo. We know how great he is, and we know how much he's going to help in this midfield and help Ecuador, proceed to the farther stages. But also, guys, they have Pacho, and Pacho's right now probably one of the better left-sided center backs in the whole world. Obviously, Gabriel Magalhães is also one of those. But I think that this team is very good, and I think that they're capable of upsets. I think they're capable of sneaking out a 1-0 win, or maybe a 0-0 that heads to penalties and they end up winning that. I think this team can go far. I think they're like a team like Morocco that people didn't see, coming, that were very young and we weren't sure what we will get from them. I think that's Ecuador is similar. I think they're a very good, talented team that we may see and go very, very far. Not very far, but they will go far, and I think they can at least get to the round of 16, maybe even potentially the quarters. And the next team, guys, is a team that I actually think can win the whole World Cup. And I think they have a very good chance of going far in this World Cup. And it's Belgium, guys. I think they are very well talented. I think Kevin De Bruyne, even though he didn't have the most successful season in Serie A, if you guys know anything about how Napoli was playing, it was very defensive. They didn't get forward. If you guys seen Kevin De Bruyne's new interviews, he's been talking a lot about how Conte's football wasn't very good for him and it didn't help him at all. And I think he's kind of right. I think he's kind of right. Conte doesn't play that, fluid system that Kevin De Bruyne was used to. And I think now he'll be able to play and open up the play a little bit more, especially with Yuri Tillemans and Onana behind him and giving him that privilege of able to go forward and try to pick out passes, especially because you won't have to do much running or pressing with those two in behind them. I think that this Belgian team off of Kevin De Bruyne will have a very, very solid team. And I think that Doku will be very, very good and influential for this team. He's had a phenomenal second half of the season for Manchester City. And it seemed like sometimes he will win games by himself for City when they were struggling. And I think that he will have a very influential role in this team. And I think that he will need to be really, really good in order for Belgium to go far. Now, guys, going for a team that I've talked about so much, I'm probably going to end up jinxing them with how much I'm talking about them and their players. But Ivory Coast, guys, I am big fans of this Ivory Coast team. I'm big fans of their players like Doué, Yan Douamunde, Ousmane Douamunde, guys. This team is so good defensively, guys, that Ousmane Douamunde, who is literally a wonder kid and supposed to be the next big thing, doesn't even start for their team, guys. That's how good the defense is. And they are very, very well structured. Fofana and Kessie in the midfield usually boss a lot of midfielders because they're big, tall, and physical. And then Simon Andingra is literally a pacey guy that runs through with Owahi from Aston Villa. And I think that they have a very, very talented team, and I think they will make some noise. And I think if they don't even, obviously if they don't make it to round 16, I'm not going to be over here like, oh my God, they didn't make it. But I think they will have a good chance of actually surprising a lot of people. And I think Ivory Coast might be back as a very, very strong nation. Another nation, guys, that I think can potentially go far and potentially even win the whole World Cup is Netherlands, guys, and Netherlands may be back. I know that the supercomputer, if you guys know this guy, this is German scientist or whatever he is, has predicted the last 3 World Cup winners correctly, and now he's predicting Netherlands to win the World Cup. And I'm not saying that because he said it. I'm not saying they're gonna win because he said it, but I think that they have a very strong team, and I think strong team, and they have Timber obviously missing it, but Quentin Timber will be part of the team, and he's a very good midfielder, and I am very, very big on his midfield, especially because of World Cups. The midfield is probably the most important thing in the World Cup, is having a strong and physical midfield that can pass and play, that don't break down and can be able to press in high moments. And I think that team will be able to run for days, and I think that they'll be able to manage a lot of teams and be able to defend if they need be, or even go on attacks and counterattack and go out there and win the game. And for the last squad, guys, I am going with Turkey. They have a very, very strong team. They have a team that can make noise and can be the Morocco of 2026, where they beat teams and somehow get to the semifinals. And we're like, how the hell is Turkey in the semifinals? I thought the only thing that they were giving out was hairlines, but apparently they're giving out L's too. So I think Turkey is a very good team and a very well-structured team. Obviously, Hakan Çalhanoğlu with midfield with Arda Güler, and then Yildiz is obviously taking a knock, but I expect them to get healthy throughout the World Cup and be able to play. And obviously, they got Yilmaz, who is playing for Galatasaray, and I am a big fan of him as well. And I think he'll be very, very good for them down the left wing. So Turkey, I think it's up to y'all. Obviously, you got Arda Güler, who's going to put y'all in the back for, I think, a couple of games. But that midfield, what I keep telling you guys, midfield is important in the World Cup. And I think Arda Güler, Çalhanoğlu, Yildiz, with Yilmaz down there in the left midfield, I think that they will have a very, very strong squad. And I think they'll be very difficult to beat. All right, guys, that's it for me today. And those are my dark horses for the World Cup. Teams that I think can potentially make some noise and teams that I think that could potentially go out there and win the World Cup. And guys, I'm excited. This World Cup started off with a banger. This was one heck of a freaking game with Mexico. Oh my God, I'll talk to you guys about it tomorrow. I can't wait, guys. This was a phenomenal way to kick off the World Cup, and I can't wait. South Korea starts in like 4 hours. And guess what? I'm going to be sleeping. I'll watch the game tomorrow. But, we're here. We're here for the World Cup, and it's finally started, and I cannot wait, guys. And with that being said, deuces, goodbye. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.